Hey guys, what's up? Zijin here, and this is the Teclast Tbook 16 Pro. It's pretty much the exact same tablet as the Teclast Tbook 16s, except this one takes an ASUS transformer style cover instead of a Surface type cover and kickstand. It has the standard specs 1080p screen, 4GB of RAM, metal build quality, and 64GB of ROM, so let's see if this tablet is worth your money. The build quality on this tablet is very good. The entire body is made out of metal and is relatively heavy, but not too heavy. The tablet itself looks really sleek, and this tablet is about 5mm thick, or at least that's what Teclast claims. In reality, it's probably more along the lines of 8mm. It feels good in the hand, and it feels a little big compared to 10-inch tablets. The bezels surrounding the tablet are actually quite small for keyboard-compatible tablets, which is nice. On the left, we find the various ports, micro HDMI, micro USB, micro SD, and there is one speaker on each side of the tablet. The hardware buttons are on the top, and the keyboard connection is on the bottom. Overall, the build quality is extremely good here. It feels premium, it feels solid, and it's a little more compact than usual for other keyboard-enabled tablets, which is definitely a plus. The screen is 11.6 inches and has a 1080p resolution. The screen really surprised me with how nice it looks. Stuff generally looks real nice on the tablet, colors are reproduced very nicely and are generally pleasing to the eye. It gets moderately bright, around 300 nits, which isn't enough for direct sunlight, but anything less than that and it's more than bright enough. I don't think there is Gorilla Glass on this tablet, so do be careful with it. It does come with a pre-installed screen protector on the front and the back, but I took both off. Touch sensitivity is actually really good, something that tablet makers skimp out on sometimes, which I really appreciate Teclast putting in the money and the time to optimize the screen quality. The speakers are located on both sides of the tablet, so you do get a nice stereo effect. Audio is pretty decent, you get some nice sound coming out of the speakers, more than enough for watching TV and listening to music. It's not the best, but it's pretty good. Bass is a little lacking, but it's not big enough to have a noticeable effect. Have a listen for yourself.
Unbelievable. Suit's filthy. Oh, shut up. Whatever. Look, why don't we do each other a favor, cut our losses, and go our separate ways?
This means nothing to you. You're gonna kill my goddaughter. My family. I take you back to casino.
There is a slightly smaller 7200 mAh battery in this tablet. Battery life should be okay, but it shouldn't be amazing. But anyway, let's test it first. I ran the web browsing test on Windows and it got about 6.5 hours of screen on time before dying. Video playback is a little bit better with 8 hours of screen on time before it died. Those are okay results, but definitely not great. I could generally get a full day of use, but there were some days where it would die before bedtime. This would be around 4 hours of screen on time with news, web browsing, and TV. In Android, battery life is actually a tiny bit better, but for all intents and purposes, it should be around the same numbers as Windows. Heavy users will need to charge occasionally before bedtime, but medium and light users should be fine. The new BIOS software used to switch between Windows and Android when you first boot up the tablet is actually pretty nice and is revamped from previous inside BIOSes in pretty much any other tablet. You get really nice big icons and you can select either one, and it actually works pretty well. I'll start with Android here. And here we have Android running 5.1 Lollipop, and stuff is generally pretty good. I kind of wish it was running Remix OS, which is way better than stock Android, but at least stock Android does work okay, so there's not much I can complain about there. Stuff launches pretty fast and multitasking is pretty good because of the 4GB of RAM, and you can play intense games on low settings. You can switch to Windows using the BIOS switcher in the notification shade. Windows 10 in tablet mode actually works pretty well as well, and stuff generally works fast with the occasional jitter here and there. Launching and using apps is zippy and generally doesn't really slow down. However, one weird thing is that Microsoft Edge will just freeze for a few seconds randomly and then continue working as if nothing happened. Installing Chrome does solve that problem. You can play games like Asphalt 8 on low settings as well in Windows, and stuff like Nova on Android as well, and it works pretty good. This is the Teclast Tbook 16 Pro. It's a pretty long name, but overall it's a pretty decent tablet. Build quality is great, the screen looks crisp, and audio is actually not that bad. Both Windows and Android work well. I do prefer Windows over Android, but both OSs work pretty well. The one thing to know is that Microsoft Edge in Windows does freeze randomly, and there is one downside if you do consider, battery life being okay, just a downside, because battery life here is okay, it's not great. One more thing to know is that the tablet is a tad pricey at $210. There are cheaper options out there, but if you have your mind set on this tablet, you will not be disappointed. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to hit like, subscribe, and share with all your friends.